I need to document our NetSuite reconciliation workflow before the team sync or else I'll literally get fired.
Don't do it.
What?
Don't do it. I'm serious. Just open Scribe.
I don't have time to learn a new tool right now.
That's...
Houston Integrity for timeline.
Houston's here.
Okay, Amy, we got the 4K camera encoder installed and the camera is set up. Are we doing scene and voice for PAO or are we skipping that for today?
We do want to do a checkout of the 4K encoder, but we don't need to do scene and voice checks. And Reed, that might have not been clear. We won't be doing a formal scene and voice check for PAO purposes, but we'll do a quick one just for the encoder checkout.
Okay, so there is no PAO event, but we are going to do a 4K encoder checkout. Copy, we're setting it up now.
Good copy. And Integrity Houston, we do have you on video for the 4K encoder checkout.
It's great news. Stand by for audio checks with the wireless mic.
Copy.
6 hours and 10 minutes since liftoff.
Amy, I just did audio with the wireless mic. Did you copy?
You have good audio. And we copy good audio on the handheld mic.
That is great news. We're ready to call 4K encoder checkout complete if you are.
We concur. 4K checkout complete, and whenever you're ready, I have some words about S-band string swap that we're interested in having you all perform. And it's great to see you all wave 4 smiling voices, and we are really enjoying seeing you up there.
Not as much as we're enjoying being here.
That is true.
And Rise is also smiling at you guys. And we're preparing to be ready for your words about, I think you said S-band. Stand by.
Standing by.
And ahead of our future public affairs events, the crew has completed a checkout of the 4K encoder video and audio. Completing that installation tonight will allow us to have them conduct some events starting tomorrow. This view on your screen coming from Orion, looking back at all of us on Earth. This is coming from a camera mounted on one of the spacecraft's solar array wings. Just a little crescent Earth. Now 6 hours and 12 minutes since launch. The first flight of humans aboard Orion.
Houston Integrity on 1. I do not have a notepad, but go with the S-band string, and if I need to get one, I'll get one.
Okay, copy. We know you're doing much cabin config, but first off, we did want to check if the EMER mass deploy is complete.
Affirmative.
Great, thank you. And then for the S-band string swap, we do want you to perform an S-band string swap back to string 1. We think the communication issues earlier in the mission were due to a ground issue, but we want to confirm good comm on string 1. I have a procedure when you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
21.1.3 for S-band string swap. Perform all steps.
get well plan if we don't pick you up on the other string?
Checking. And Reed, if you swap to string 1 and you don't have comm with us for 2 minutes, you can swap back to string 2.
Okay, that sounds good. And can Christina go for her PAO teardown activity?
You are go for the PAO deactive activity.
Okay, we copy that, and 21.1.3 is going into work, and we have at least one use on fluids in the toilet, and it worked great.
We are so happy to hear that.
And Christina is wondering how long until the CCU dump.
Approximately standby. Approximately 15 minutes to the CCU dump, and we'll give you a call as a reminder.
Copy.
So you just mentioned that you want to learn Python. So do not learn Python in manual way in 2025, because learning Python in manual way will take you like 6 months of your time. On top of that, you will be ultra non-productive in Python, because when you use AI inside your Python, when you use AI tools to do your Python coding, you will be saving upwards of 95% of your time while you're coding, while you're debugging, while you're building web apps, and while you are scraping as well, right? So for tackling this same problem, we found like 10 useful tools for day-to-day Python development and Python work. So we have developed a program which is like absolutely beginner friendly. Even if you have zero knowledge in Python, you can join this program, and in 30 days you will be becoming pro of Python, that also using AI. You will be not becoming a Python developer, you will be becoming a 10x Python developer. And the best part, like we have democratized this program, so this 30-day program is just for rupees 199. Can you believe that?
Astronauts aboard Orion calling down to speak with Artemis Mission Control here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. What you see in the bottom right of your screen. Capcom, or Capsule Communicator, right now is Amy Dill. She has been speaking with the crew since the Orbit 1 shift took over. The Capsule Communicator is the only person in Mission Control that speaks directly with the crew. You can see her there down closer to the bottom left of your screen, and right next to her is NASA astronaut Raja Chari. Having one voice in Mission Control speaking with the crew allows us to keep communications clear and concise. They gather information from all of the flight controllers here in the room alongside the flight director and make decisions on what they need to share with the crew aboard Orion.
integrity on 1 for fan speed / cabin temperature.
Houston's listening.
Amy, is it possible to lower the cabin fan speed a bit? There's a lot of airflow in here, and if that is not possible, can we increase the temperature?
Well, I think the answer is yes, right? Ecom, we can do one of those two things.
Copy, Reed. We understand the request, and we are discussing how to implement. We'll follow up.
Yeah, sounds good. No urgency there, but just know that that will be our desire down the road.
Copy. Integrity, Houston, maneuver in progress, 5 minutes.
UDF വരികയല്ലേ നിയമപരീക്ഷ 3000 ഉയർത്തും UDFന്റെ ഇന്ദിരാ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് 6000 രൂപ
ക്ഷേമ പെൻഷനുകൾ 3000 രൂപയാക്കി വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കും. ഇത് UDFന്റെ ഇന്ദിരാ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി. ഇനി ജനങ്ങൾ ജയിക്കട്ടെ.
കേരളം ജയിക്കും, UDF നയിക്കും.
And Integrity Houston for the enabled SM RCS prop cautions. Those are again understood with the maneuver, and we are working to suppress the ones that are enabled.
Sounds good, Amy. We copy all.
Now over 6.5 hours mission elapsed time, or time since the Artemis II mission began, with liftoff of Orion atop the Space Launch System rocket at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Since then, the crew has seen the perigee raise maneuver and apogee raise burn before moving into the proximity operations demo. They detached from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage and then used that stage as a docking target. Of course, we did not dock today, but this was great practice for us to understand how it feels to manually fly Orion. So pilot Victor Glover was manually controlling the spacecraft in relation to the interim cryogenic propulsion stage. We also saw CubeSat deployment. Eventually, we had the USS-2 burn, the upper stage separation burn that took us away from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, and the ICPS itself had its own disposal burn. The crew is now working through some cabin configuration. Once their cabin configuration is complete, they will have their private medical conferences to report how they're feeling down to teams here on the ground. They'll get into their chance to sleep a little bit before the perigee raise burn in the middle of their sleep shift. Once that burn is complete, we will then get another sleep shift for Orion. That perigee raise burn is to raise the lowest point of Orion's orbit around the Earth right now. It is in a high Earth orbit. And that perigee raise burn will set us up for the translunar injection burn tomorrow. Translunar injection is the burn that we need to send us around the moon and is also our deorbit burn.
Integrity Houston, no action on the enabled caution again, and I have a couple of items for you whenever you're ready.
Okay, Houston, we're ready. Go ahead.
Okay, first off, to address the cabin environment, we're going to command cabin fan speed lower from the ground.
Thank you.
Two more things. Also, you probably already have, but your go to set cockpit and cabin lighting as well as DU brightness per your preference. We are well out of the eclipse.
You're right, we have. Thank you.
I figured you might have, and we're also at that time where we're ready for you to do the CCU dump, and I have a procedure when you're ready to copy.
Stand by on that one.
Standing by.
Okay, Houston, we are ready to copy the CCU dump procedure.
Okay, it is 26.2.201 CCU dump, and step 1.1 is complete for configuring heaters. We've done that from the ground.
Okay, Houston, we copy. Thank you.
And as an additional, once you get there, there's a check step in step 5.1 for confirming heaters reach set point. They are there, so you're good to continue once you get there.
Okay, we copy your 1.1 and 5.1. Thanks.
टर 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 सिस्टर बीना का मैसेज आया है, अर्जेंट लिखा है। मेरे बच्चे के ट्रीटमेंट के लिए 1 लाख रुपए चाहिए डॉक्टर, तुरंत भेज दीजिए प्लीज।
सिस्टर बीना, मैं पहले सिस्टर बीना को फोन करके पूछूंगी, फिर भेजूंगी, क्योंकि मैं मूर्ख नहीं हूँ।
वेल डन डॉक्टर। यूपीआई कहता है अगर पहचान के व्यक्ति से भी ऐसे मैसेज आए तो हो सकता है कि उनके मैसेजिंग ऐप हैक्ड हो। तो पहले नॉर्मल कॉल करके चेक करो और कहो मैं मूर्ख नहीं हूँ। जाइए आप भी किसी का टेस्ट लीजिए।
Used the toilet.
Houston, integrity. Question on CCU dump. Also a status. The O2 N2 med checkout activity is complete.
Copy status, ready for question.
Yes, the CUD1 ECFA was not installed yet. I have located it. Am I go to remove all of the packaging around the connectors and go ahead and connect it to CUD1, or is there a procedure I should be referred to for that?
And Christina, you are go to remove all the packaging and to connect ECFA to CUD1.
Copy all.
Integrity Houston for upcoming conference.
Go ahead for upcoming conference.
Whenever you're ready, we can privatize Orion to Earth 2.
So many documents, spreadsheets, videos to go through, and the deadline is tomorrow. All the trainees are stressed. Everyone except Sandra. Because with Google AI Plus, she can just use Notebook LM to create a simple podcast summary. Catch up fast.
Again, we're looking at an approximately 10-day mission. The crew will soon be stepping into their private medical conferences. These are scheduled to allow the crew time to report down to the ground on how they are feeling during the mission. Once the crew completes their private medical conferences, they will be able to start winding down and getting into their pre-sleep period. They will have a chance to take a nap, essentially, before waking up for their perigee raise burn monitoring operations. Once perigee raise burn is complete, and again, perigee raise burn is to lift the lowest point of Orion's orbit around the Earth, and we are in a high Earth orbit. Once perigee raise burn is complete, we will have the crew go back to sleep for another several hours before they wake up tomorrow at about 2100 MET, actually about 2000 MET, which is around 1:15 p.m. Houston time, Central Time. It'll be a busy day for the crew tomorrow. They will have their first full day inside the spacecraft. They'll have the opportunity to talk about the vehicle status with the crew in Mission Control Houston. They will also begin exercising. And again, with that private medical conference coming up, we do take the action to privatize the loops so the crew can share however they are feeling with teams here on the ground below, and their health and medical status is protected. The main thing on their timeline tomorrow will be the translunar injection burn. This is the burn that will commit us to flying around the moon, leaving high Earth orbit, and eventually returning back home to Earth after swinging around the moon.
Integrity Houston, Orion to Earth 2 is privatized for your conference.
ഞങ്ങൾ കോളേജ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനികൾക്ക് 1000 രൂപ കിട്ടും മാസം തോറും. UDFന്റെ ഇന്ദിരാ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി.
കോളേജ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥിനികൾക്ക് പ്രതിമാസം 1000 രൂപ. ഇത് UDFന്റെ ഇന്ദിരാ ഗ്യാരണ്ടി. ഇനി ജനങ്ങൾ ജയിക്കട്ടെ.
കേരളം ജയിക്കും, UDF നയിക്കും.
Houston Integrity on Orion Earth 1.
Houston's here.
You can go ahead and normalize Orion Earth 2, and then Reed is going to have a PCD question. I'm having a little bit of network issues. I need some troubleshooting assistance.
Copy, we will normalize.
Teams here in Mission Control Houston are normalizing the flight loop for Orion to communicate back with the Artemis Mission Control Room. They were able to privatize that flight loop and allow the crew to discuss with flight doctors how they feel after today's launch and events. We plan these private medical conferences throughout the mission for them to report down how they're feeling.
Integrity Houston, we are ready for your PCD questions whenever you are.
Okay, Amy, this is just on PCD1, logged in users, CDR. When I am trying to open Optimus, I am getting an error. Let me open it and try to read the error I'm getting.
We copy so far.
So I get a screen that says, "Welcome to Optimus tablet," with an exclamation point, and it says, "We need to gather some basic information to get you started," and it's got 3 questions. But then laying on top of that, about 1/5 of the size of the PCD, is a pop-up window that says, "Network error. Operating system is reporting access to internet as unavailable. Check to see if device has network capabilities enabled."
We copy, and we are chatting.
Copy. Troubleshooting steps I have tried is I've tried running the network config to Wi-Fi, and I have also tried a shutdown reboot, but I'm open to trying those things again.
Copy your troubleshooting so far.
That's NASA astronaut and Commander Reed Wiseman calling down about some issues he's having with his portable computing device, or PCD. Those are the tablets that the crew often uses. He's looking to access one of our networks that we use for timeline planning called Optimus. Teams here on the ground are helping him troubleshoot that.
Stowage question when you have a second.
Ready for stowage question.
As we are working on the Ekless wall, we need new, fresh comfort garment stowage location for Christina and Jeremy. We're having a little bit of trouble finding their new comfort garments because we're going to stow them with the suits.
Copy. We will look that up and get back to you when we have it. Integrity Houston for comfort garment locations.
Go.
Thermal comfort garments for Christina and Jeremy are in Foxtrot 3 CTB large, labeled med kits with a purple label.
Copy, we're checking it out.
Houston Integrity for CCU dump, step 6.1, requesting that you deactivate the secondary wastewater dump line heaters.
Copy, thanks for the call. We will go ahead and leave those on for your awareness.
You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need a starting point. GoDaddy gives you the tools, the expert support, and the push to make it real. Your brand starts here with GoDaddy.
Integrity Houston for Read PCD troubleshooting.
Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, Reed, we suspect the issue with your PCD may be Optimus software. We were able to connect to PCD1 on, we can see it on the network, so with your go, we can remote in and take a look directly.
Yeah, go for it. And then I also see that I have 2 Microsoft Outlooks, and neither one of those are working. If you want to remote in and check Optimus on those 2 Outlooks, that would be awesome.
All right, we will join in on your PCD and we'll let you know when we're done. Integrity Houston, for your awareness, we have increased the ping timeout to 2 hours, 51 minutes to encompass the KUS PDL Compass.
Okay, Amy, we are pretty knee-deep in cabin config. Just confirm we are not expecting a forward or return link LOS for the next little bit.
Correct.
Coming up on 7 hours and 15 minutes since launch today. Orion now over 33,000 miles from Earth. Our 4 crew members aboard getting settled in to the spacecraft. Most recently, Commander Reed Wiseman calling down.
Integrity, Houston, 1 minute to DTE handover.
Most recently, Commander Reed Wiseman calling down to discuss his portable computing device and making sure they can get it connected to the network.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do? Drag and research, drop in notes. Watch AI pull insights from your doc. You did your bit, it's time to share. Now let your team build from there. Now you can do that. Do that with the all new Acrobat.
To the sleep portion of their day. They're only going to get about 4 hours of sleep before they need to wake up and monitor the perigee raise maneuver burn. That perigee raise burn will lift the lowest point of Orion's orbit around the Earth. And again, we are in a high Earth orbit, a little bit different than what we're used to aboard the International Space Station in a low Earth orbit. At any time, the International Space Station flies about 250 statute miles over the planet, and obviously we are now over 33,000 miles away from our home planet. That perigee raise burn will set Orion up in its proper positioning ahead of the translunar injection burn tomorrow, one of the major milestones on the crew's timeline tomorrow. And that translunar injection burn will be what sends us to the moon and also commits us to coming home. Once the perigee raise burn is complete tonight, that'll be around 6:15 a.m. Houston time. The crew will get to go back to sleep for almost 5 more hours before they wake up. So they will get a total night's sleep, just divided because of that perigee raise burn. This evening, after completing the proximity operations demonstration, the crew has been working in the cabin to stow everything that they've been using so far and configure it for the rest of the mission. Tomorrow, they'll have time for space adaptation, helping them get used to the microgravity environment. They all have a midday meal scheduled at the same time. Of course, again, they will monitor those burn operations and conduct some exercise.
Integrity Houston, com check on DTE pass.
Houston, we have you loud and clear, Alice.
Loud and clear.
Excellent. We're just going to continue running through cabin config.
We copy.
And Amy, I got a stowage note for you. We stowed our used comfort garments in Ziploc bags in the F4 locker, in the the off-nominal waste management system comfort garment bag, which was empty.
We copy.
7 hours, 26 minutes since the launch of Orion atop the Space Launch System rocket for the Artemis II mission. Our 4 astronauts now over 34,000 miles away from Earth. Throughout the mission, astronaut voices, images, video, and vital mission data
Houston's here. Say again.
For the right RHC, C2 RHC, is there any way you all can open the RPC for that and save us the commanding?
Checking.
Commander Reed Wiseman calling down about the rotational hand controller that was used earlier during the proximity operations demonstration. And again, those communications and data throughout the mission has to travel thousands of miles and is carried on signals from NASA's powerful communications systems, including the Near Space Network and the Deep Space Network. Let's learn a little bit more about those.
NASA's Artemis II will send 4 astronauts around the moon, preparing humanity for a long-term lunar presence and future journeys to Mars. Enabling communication and navigation for this test flight are NASA's Near Space Network and Deep Space Network. With antennas around the world and a fleet of relay satellites, the networks will deliver vital data to and from Earth through all phases of the mission. The networks are seamlessly integrated at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, where Mission Control coordinates the network handovers. These transfers represent a delicate dance between the 2 networks, exchanging support as the mission shoots toward the moon. On the launch pad and during their early orbit phases, NASA's Orion spacecraft and Space Launch System rocket will rely on communications and tracking services from the Near Space Network. After its translunar injection burn, the Deep Space Network's global array of antennas will serve as Orion's primary communication support during lunar orbit. As the mission journeys farther into space and away from Earth, signal strength weakens and bandwidth is conserved for crew communications. The astronauts will have a near constant connection to Earth, ensuring their safety on a journey farther into space than ever before. We say near constant because as Orion goes behind the moon, a planned loss in communications will occur. The Deep Space Network will be standing by to reacquire the signal as Orion reappears. The Artemis II mission also provides an opportunity to test new capabilities. Using laser links, NASA will periodically transmit Orion data to showcase the benefits laser communications could have for future human spaceflight missions. The data from Orion, sent by radio signals or laser links, is massive. The mission is gathering images, data, and video, while also generating details about mission health and crew voice files. All of that data gets processed here on Earth, where systems compress it for efficiency. In the future, we'll upgrade these systems on Earth so that image and video clarity improve with each moon mission. With the Artemis II test flight, we're evaluating the communications infrastructure that will help carry us into the future as we explore the moon and journey forward to Mars.
Seven hours, 30 minutes since launch of Orion, and we are on,
And Integrity Houston affirm we will perform the right RPC open command from the ground.
Okay, Amy, thank you very much. That helps.
That's Capcom Amy Dill down near the bottom of your screen, and to her right, NASA astronaut Raja Chari communicating with commander of this mission, Reed Wiseman, currently aboard Orion. Wiseman initially called out about the rotational hand controller, and Dill confirmed they would activate the RPC, the remote power controller, to alleviate the crew from having to execute that action. As I was discussing, the crew went on the Deep Space Network just before their proximity operations demonstration earlier tonight. They became the first crew in over 50 years to use the Deep Space Network, as we continuously have people in low Earth orbit aboard the International Space Station, and they use a tracking data relay satellite system. Again, we are going to continue to hear fewer calls from the crew as they are now in their pre-sleep portion of their day. During pre-sleep, the crew gets ready to go to bed for the night. That includes everything from hanging up their sleeping bags to stowing any equipment and personal items to make sure they're not floating about the spacecraft. They also eventually, once all of the rest of their checklist is complete, will install some window shades over the windows aboard Orion. They have the option to do so if they choose. They also have the opportunity to put on earplugs and sleep masks. Of course, this is all crew preference. And eventually, last but not least, turn off the cabin lights and get some rest. 7 hours and 40 minutes into the flight of Orion on the Artemis II mission. Overall, about a 10-day mission. The crew is winding down their day. It's been a long day for them. They woke up about 8 hours prior to launch, so they're on almost a 16-hour-long day at this point, being that it takes quite a while to get suited up and ready for the mission. After launch, the spacecraft completed the perigee raise maneuver and then the apogee raise burn before the crew was able to conduct the prox ops demo. That is when pilot Victor Glover manually flew Orion, the first time anyone has done so, and maneuvered it around the ICPS, the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, which had just detached from the spacecraft. That demonstration was all to help us prepare for future missions in which Orion will need to dock to a lunar lander and descend to the lunar surface. Following the prox ops demonstration, Orion completed the upper stage separation burn, giving it distance between Orion and the interim cryogenic propulsion stage itself having a disposal burn. Since then, the astronauts have been working about the cabin, stowing their suits that they wore into orbit, configuring the cabin for the rest of the mission, and they also conducted their private medical conferences, speaking with teams here on the ground about how they were feeling after their launch day. They are now in their pre-sleep portion of the day. They're going to get a few hours of sleep before the apogee raise burn, the perigee raise burn. That'll be at 12:55 MET, so about 6:30 a.m. Houston time, just a little bit before that. That perigee raise burn will lift the lowest point of Orion's orbit around the Earth. We are in a high Earth orbit, now over 35,000 miles from Earth. 7 hours and 56 minutes into the flight of Orion on the Artemis II mission, our 4 astronauts in their pre-sleep period as Orion is in a high Earth orbit. We're spending approximately 24 hours in this high Earth orbit to allow the crew to check out all of the systems aboard the spacecraft before committing to going to the moon in tomorrow's translunar injection burn. This is a test flight, so everything with humans aboard this flight is being tested for the first time. This time in high Earth orbit, that approximately 24 hours, allows us to check all of these systems and make sure that they work properly and that we are comfortable flying humans farther than we've gone in over 50 years.